It's a good time to take a little commercial break. We'll be back with more of Dr. Fred Whitehurst. I got a couple more questions for him, and all of his answers have been great so far, so I can't doubt that the next one will be too. We'll be right back, more of these messages. And now, a word from our sponsors. Pacific West Bamboo, your premier source for sustainable building material. They provide construction-grade and craft-grade bamboo material for all your indoor, outdoor, and gardening needs. Contact them for event planning and display building as well. 503-839-8126. Or you go to their new website, pacificwestbamboo.com. Or you can contact them on Facebook at Pacific West Bamboo. That's 503-839-8126. Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo was our first sponsor. She's been so good to us, so please support her in return. I want to make everybody aware of our new members section at www.oppermanreport.com. You can go there and sign up for a monthly, quarterly, or yearly subscription. You can even purchase episodes one by one. You get full access to brand new original content, new guests, new uncensored interviews, my own investigations and reports, and we're going to be adding sections with documents, images, police reports, either provided by myself or by my guests, or for my own investigations, my own reports. So you can go to oppermanreport.com, and you can sign up there tonight. You can start listening tonight. Strawman. I want to mention Strawman. Strawman is a band out of Toronto, Canada. They're good friends of the Opperman Report. They're a trio of guys who share the same mindset most of us here do, and they put that energy into their words and music. So check them out at strawmanmusic.com and drop them a line to let them know that you heard them here on the Opperman Report. We'll be doing an interview with Sean Duffy soon. You can get an autographed copy of my book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator, by visiting my PI website, emailrevealer.com. We also offer a computer and cell phone forensics. We can recover deleted text messages to uncover infidelity. We offer asset searches, locates, email tracing, background reports, and we can even trace your spouse's email address back to internet dating websites to catch them cheating online. You can reach us at 800-572-9762, or you can email me at emailrevealer@aol.com. New World Mexican Women. Everyone loves the New World Mexican Women, and their line of fine, handcrafted, authentic Mexican jewelry of stone mosaic and abalone stone inlay. In their first book, titled New World Mexican Women, available on lulu.com, they teach you how to make this jewelry, and they have a collection of love letters to their men from their hometown that have immigrated to the United States to find work. They have also published a new book entitled Azuquina to the Rodeo. It's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider, and she runs away with him without telling her family. You can find the New World Mexican Women by Googling New World Mexican Women. And you can ask them about their deals on wholesaling their fine jewelry and all of the other projects that they have going on. If you'd like to have your business or website advertised here and promoted all over the world on dozens of stations every day, give us a call at 800-572-9762 or email oppermanreport@gmail.com. And now back to our show. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. We'll be right back with our guest, Dr. Fred Whitehurst, FBI whistleblower, in just a minute. But let me remind you about our friends over at Michigan Mushrooms. Do you find yourself drinking that third cup of coffee and thinking, hey, this can't be healthy? Maybe you should consider an alternative from the kingdom of fungi. MichiganMushrooms.net has a variety of different mushrooms that can be made into teas for a smarter alternative to coffee without the jitters. They have reishi mushrooms. These are known as, in China, as the mushroom of immortality. And, of course, chaga mushroom, known as the diamond of the forest. They harvest from the pristine wildlands of northern Michigan and offer them for some of the best prices available online. And also, too, I keep telling you, make a great Christmas gift. So check out MichiganMushrooms.net or on Facebook, Michigan Mushrooms LLC. But we are here tonight with the former FBI agent, whistleblower, Dr. Fred Whitehurst. Now, I was going to ask you, we were talking about the congressional investigation. Oh, yeah, right. I know what it is. Now, you was mentioning your law firm, right? Now, your law firm, you had to hire a law firm while you were working for the FBI to protect you from the FBI.
That's right.
Now, who was paying for that law firm, and where was that money coming from?
It's coming out of my pocket.
No, they weren't doing any of this pro bono or anything like that?
Oh, no. I mean, people have to make a living. I know that they did a lot of work on that case, and it was a great financial burden on that law firm. But law firm of Cohn Colapento, their whistleblowing law firm and the major whistleblowing law firm in the United States, at the time they were I don't know if you'd say as startups, but they were new in the area. Probably hadn't been doing whistleblowing law more than about 5-10 years. But I just stumbled on them. By the grace of God, they turned out to be the law firm, and they're 3-4 fearless people. They just go up against giants.
Yeah, it takes a lot of guts to go up against the FBI. Now, did they experience any kind of harassment or intimidation or anything like that coming down from the FBI?
Well, the FBI wouldn't harass them. First of all, the problem the FBI had was that they had no precedent. They didn't know how to handle this. There was no protocol, if you will. One of their own mid-level manager speaks out, and they don't know what to do. And then it happened so lightning fast against them that it took everybody, including us, by surprise. It became an international scandal. The unit that I was working in, we couldn't do any work for 2 weeks because the phones were ringing from all over the world, literally calling in, trying to figure out what's going on. And it took up 3 different units, people just answering the phone all day. But the FBI was, of course, initially very blustery, and you just don't bluster these people. I don't understand them. I'm terrified of authority, and they're not terrified of authority at all. They believe very deeply in the American, the Constitution and the American ideal. So, as I said, I'm walking down the street, and Steve Cohen's telling me, well, we'll sue the President, the Attorney General, and the FBI Director, and the U.S. Government, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And wait a minute, I just want the lab to work, But they ultimately, once I got out, they are associated with and part and parcel to the National Whistleblower Center. And we formed the Forensic Justice Project at the National Whistleblower Center to gather information about issues in forensic science and make it available for the people that are engaged in dialogues about it or in conversations about it.
Now, ultimately, you wound up suing the FBI. But what were the grounds of your lawsuit?
Well, let me see. I sued the President of the United States to get a writ of mandamus to force him to institute the Whistleblower Protection Act, 1989 Whistleblower Protection Act. We pass laws in this country. The Department of Justice ignores them. They just literally ignores them. The FBI ignore them. That's crazy. The foremost premier law enforcement agencies in this country don't have to obey the law. Well, so we sued Mr. Clinton to get them to actually implement them. We sued the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to get. What I wanted was I knew 12 different people who were doing bad, and I wanted every laboratory report they ever wrote, and I wanted all the information from every file they ever worked on, because I wanted to find out who got hurt. And then we sued the FBI under First Amendment because, look, I have a right, and so the FBI and the FBI director, Louis Freeh's response in his book, My FBI, is I didn't believe Fred Whitehurst then, and I don't believe him now, and that's his great loss. But that's what the lawsuits were about. To get the president to do his job, to force the Department of Justice and the FBI to do their jobs, to get the Department of Justice to allow us to find out who was hurt by this scam, and then to get the FBI to back off the harassment and back off the, I've got a right to speak about things that are wrong in our government. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice, still don't believe that. They've instituted whistleblower protections that are a sham, but at least they've instituted something. If there's nothing to work on, you can't fix it.
Now, how did they calculate your damages at $1.25 million?
Oh, I don't know. Freedom is not free.
Right.
And it cost, and I don't know. I don't know how they did that.
Really? Okay, amazing. Okay, could have been more than, too bad.
Well, I wasn't damaged to that. I spent quite a bit of money out of my wife's pocket and my pocket,
right.
And but okay, so what? This is my country. I am an American, and I refuse to bend down to tyrants. Period. And so, what costs money? I eat 3 times a day. I'm probably a little heavy. I got a home over my head. The rest of it is icing on the cake. And so, you probably feel the same way. This is my country.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be a crook. I wouldn't put up with Hitler. I wouldn't put up with J. Edgar Hoover, frankly, And there's a few presidents I wouldn't put up with, but this is not a political conversation.
Hey, now, when they were coming after you and sending you for psych evaluations and stuff like that, were they doing that to your wife as well?
No, what they were doing to my wife was harassing her at her job place, and she was getting negative. She'd been an exceptional employee, and all of a sudden her performance appraisals went down, and they beat her up pretty badly.
It hurts more, when you see them attacking your family than it does when they're attacking you. Oh boy. Okay, so now I know you're working with this whistleblower project again. Now, what is it called now?
The National Whistleblower Center.
The National Whistleblower Center.
Whistleblower Center, yes.
And what do you guys do?
There's a website for it.
Okay. And or any big projects you're working on right now?
The United States of America, sir.
Well, like in what context? What are you working on?
Well, people call to the Whistleblower Center from all areas.
Yeah.
A recent effort has been, believe it or not, wildlife endangerment whistleblowers. We got people out there slaughtering different kinds of animals, elephants, whatever, and the people that are trying to report it need protection. People that raising issues, that are of national importance, and we hear about them, but we just hear about them. We're not there for them when they actually are going through their battles. There was an FBI agent named Jane Turner who blew the whistle on crimes at the Ground Zero at the World Trade Center when it was taken down. She blew the whistle on crimes on Indian reservations, and they just wrapped her up, and that was the wrong person to mess with. Mm-hmm. And, there have been national security issues where the government's got more than one Snowden in it, if you will, and their response to when somebody says, I don't think what we're doing here is right, is to destroy those people, then they get Mr. Snowden. But having a whistleblower center, people can come forward and say, I think there's an issue here. It's illegal for people to do this. And it goes everywhere from people blowing the whistle on issues in places like Guantanamo Bay or in the military, overseas, or whatever, to, the door's open. And We have a national referral system that service that you